Going on, people? This is Trill News Now with your boy DB Facts. Today, I'm coming to y'all with a real upsetting story. We're gonna be talking about the shooting by a police officer of Jacob Blake. Now, news reports are stating that Jacob Blake was in a neighborhood attempting to break up a fight between two women. When the police arrived on the scene, he wanted to leave. He was heading to his car, walking away in no threatening fashion. He just walking to his car. And once he got to his car door, the police grabbed him by the back of his shirt and proceeded to shoot him in his back 7 times. 7 times. This is crazy. In his back, 7 times. Now, a small update about him. From what I'm hearing from reports, that he's in stable condition. Of course, he's paralyzed. They had to do a lot of surgery. They said he had holes in his stomach. They had to stitch his stomach up. I think he lost like a great portion of his colon. They had to remove a large part of his large intestines. He was shot in the arm. So he is alive, but he's also paralyzed. They're saying it's going to take a miracle for this man to ever walk again. But thankful for all the support this man has reached. I also saw a report today that they started a GoFundMe, I believe yesterday, and so far that account, the last report, $900,000 that they've, collected through this GoFundMe account. So that's awesome, at least going through this, he won't have to worry about his hospital bills and, things in his regular life, because clearly he's not going to be able to work. So, that's good news, but man, it's terrible. We gotta figure out what's going on. Why is it so easy for these police to just take off and shoot with no threat? There was no threat. This man, and like I said, if you watch the film, even if the officer was concerned about this man going to the car to get a weapon, he could have jumped in front of the door and just not let him open the door. You have a gun in your hand. You think this man's gonna try to fight you? He was just trying to get out of there. He didn't want no interaction with the police. Plus, people realized this man had his 3 young kids in the car. 3 young kids in the car. Can you imagine how traumatized these kids are going to be for the rest of their lives? For the rest of their lives, because these officers decided to shoot this man in front of his kids. 3 kids in the car. It's terrible. So, it's just a real sad story, man. The police, it's just sad the way it's set up. The only thing that a police officer has to say to have the right to kill you is that he was scared. And now I'm hearing things, they're saying that there was a knife involved. He had a knife, which you can clearly see in the video. This man didn't have any weapon, but of course they're going to say that. And then apparently in the state, they don't have a body cam. They have body microphones, which I feel like is just another bad idea, because if there's no witnesses there, if they just have the microphones on, the cops can say anything. They can say, put the gun down. They can say, put the knife down. And there's no video footage, so, people are always going to take the cops' word first. So if they have these body microphones, I feel like that's trash. Like, what's the point? They could still lie. The point of cameras and things is to where you don't have to rely on one side or the other. You rely on the footage. The footage don't lie. But audio can still definitely be manipulated. So I don't like that. And let me touch on one other thing real quick too, man. This whole thing that people are talking about with defunding the police. Let's just get this straight. A lot of the conservatives and right-wingers, they try to run with this whole narrative, oh, they want to defund the police, and when you're in an emergency situation, when someone breaks in your house, there's not going to be anyone to call. That is just not true. Defunding the police is basically saying, 1, stop giving so much of the city or the county's money to the police and put more resources into these neighborhoods, to kids, what they call community centers and libraries, upgrading the libraries and just programs for the kids. Maybe make a different division for, when you have mentally ill people, special needs people. I have an autistic son, and I'm so nervous so nervous of the day when he has to have police interaction. I pray that it never happens because I just feel like it would end bad because my son has autism and he could be a little aggressive at times and they would automatically consider that a threat. And that is sad that I have to be worried for my 10-year-old son if ever, I have stickers on my car, that I ordered that says there's an autistic child on board. Caution, you know what I mean? To let them know, please understand this kid has special needs. He's not a threat to you. He has autism, and that would be the first thing I would say in any interaction. Don't worry about me. I'll deal with me, but let me, explain to him his situation first so he could be protected because any false move, they look at it as a threat, So I think part of it would be to put more money into the community and away from the police. And then they have too many police. This is the thing. If you have so many police officers because they're trying to act like everywhere is just crime-riddled in this country, eventually what you have are these cops, when there's no crime, they have to find crime. They have to, pick with people or harass people that are probably innocent, or either try to put a crime on them or just harass them just to have something to do. They need to demilitarize police. You see police sometimes, I remember back in the day, it was just a blue uniform with a little taxi cab driver hat and gold badge, and that's the police. Now, you see a police walk up to you, you don't know if it's a police officer or somebody, a military soldier from Afghanistan or Iraq. And they have all these fancy toys, and I'm a man myself. I love going to Home Depot. I love going to Bass Pro Shop. As soon as you get a toy, the first thing you want to do is use it. So if they're giving these guys all these military type weapons, don't you think that they're going to want to use them right away? That's why they have all these people getting pepper sprayed and stuff and shot with these rubber bullets at these protests. They can't wait to do it. It's terrible, man. And honestly, I don't say that we should rid the police, but I do think it needs to be broke down and rebuilt. They need to phase the old way out and bring a new way in, because I feel like just based on how the police situation was derived should be taken into consideration. Originally, policing was originated, they always had like little sheriffs in the county, just kind of regulate people. But I'm talking about the actual police force. If you notice, you have a difference. If you, in a lot of counties, you have the sheriff department, you have the police department. Some counties just have one or the other. But before it was just sheriffs, it was just a local sheriff, and then they came with the police. But the original thing with the police was to catch runaway slaves. That was their sole duty, just to run around and catch slaves. So when you really consider that, and the attitude that they approach you with, the vitriol they use when they speak to you, it just makes you uncomfortable. And then they say, "Why are you so nervous?" It's like, why shouldn't I be nervous? I feel like any interaction with you, my life is on the line, because all you have to do is be scared. I'm a 280-pound black man, so just that alone can be intimidating for some people. I'm a very nice guy. I don't bother anybody. But you don't, in this life, it's not all about facts, it's about perception. So if you perceive me to be a threat, that means now my life is, at risk immediately. But I just feel like, man, if these guys have to be that scary, why do you want this job? It's just like with the military. And I feel like this is another thing that is crazy to me. Our military soldiers, these guys who go overseas and fight for our freedom and really put their life on the line, they're really in a situation where they know they can die. They're dealing with these, ISIS people and all that. They know when they go on the line that they can die, and they are still held to a higher standard than the police. How does that even make sense? These guys are in a war zone with people who they know are trying to kill them. There's no thing, and you could probably think like, oh, I'm in danger, I'm going. And I'm not saying that their job is not dangerous. Let's be clear on that fact. But I don't feel like their job is nowhere near as dangerous as these guys over there fighting in Afghanistan and Iraq and all around the world, right? And when you really get down to it, they are in way more dangerous situations in these war zones, but the standard is different, because there are plenty of military soldiers right now in Fort Leavenworth prison, which is one of the hardest prisons in the country, And they are there because they may have made a bad call on the battlefield and got, somebody killed who probably wasn't supposed to get killed. This is what's going on. But these police officers are killing innocent, tax-paying American citizens. And let's just get one other thing straight too, because every time this happens, where a police officer shoots somebody, they go into their social media and they try to look up their background, say, oh, well, he used to smoke weed. There's video of him smoking weed. Oh, he was hanging out on the corner with his guys drinking 40s. Maybe he was a gang member. None of that, even if he was caught in the commission of a crime, does not give you the right to immediately sentence this man to death. So I don't want to hear that, oh, he had this and had that going on, because none of that gives you the right to, execute this man, or attempt to. This guy luckily is alive and it looked like he's going to survive. He's just going to be paralyzed, not just, but he's going to be paralyzed. It doesn't look like he's going to die. But I want you guys to hear this thing I looked up earlier. In 2019, out of 365 days, there was only 30 days collectively in the year 2019 that either a cop shot or killed somebody, that they didn't. It was on the time that they didn't do it, it was only 30 days out of 365 days. That's outlandish, people. That is crazy. And like I said, I can't stop going back to the fact that those kids were in the car. How traumatized do you think those kids are seeing their daddy get shot like that and bloody? I mean, I have children, man. I couldn't imagine my little Inaya. You understand me? Seeing me get shot up by some police trying to get in the car to protect them, get them out of this situation. And they got to see their daddy bleeding and going through all this, man. That is so traumatic. These kids are going to have PTSD for the rest of their lives, and they're going to be scared of police. This has to stop, people. It has to stop. It has to stop. And like I said, man, anybody that's going to go out there and protest for this man, please do it in a peaceful fashion. Because the only way we can move forward is to not give them a narrative to paint to say, oh, see, they're out there tearing stuff up again. Because we don't win like that, people. We don't. So if you're going to go out there and protest, please do it in a peaceful fashion so you don't put yourself in harm's way. Because they're just waiting on a reason to pluck you off. Bottom line, please, I'm asking you. And we got to stick together, people. We have to stay active. We have to stay active in your community. Ever how you can help. Whatever you can do to help, man. Well, even if it's just talking to the youngsters and letting them know it's going to be all right and trying to show them positive things to do. We all have to play a part. We all have to play a part. And I'm going to touch on that in my next video when I'm talking about, the whole gang culture in this country. We're going to speak on that in my next video. So hopefully you guys tune in. Please, whatever you do, like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And yeah, share the video if you can too. And you can follow me on all social medias under Trill News Now. And I look forward to making another video soon. That's all my time to the next time, people. I appreciate everything. I appreciate the support. And please, people, understand, Black Lives Matter. 100%. Salute.